The grand halls of the Galactic Council echoed with laughter. Hundreds of alien representatives from across the known universe pointed their appendages at the holographic display of Earth's latest achievement, the Starweaver. The human vessel, despite its sleek design and advanced technology, seemed primitive to their eyes. Captain James Miller stood straight-backed before the council, his weathered face showing no emotion. Behind him, his small crew maintained their composure despite the mockery. The Starweaver was humanity's pride, their first successful attempt at dimensional travel beyond the normal boundaries of space-time. You expect us to believe this crude container can traverse the seventh dimension. The Grand Speaker's translators barely kept up with his clicks and whistles. His crystalline body structure sparkled under the chamber's lights. We have mastered 6 dimensions over millennia of advancement. Your species barely learned to league your atmosphere a few centuries ago. More laughter followed. Miller felt his first officer, Robert, shift uncomfortably beside him. The council chamber, with its towering spiral architecture and floating platforms, was designed to intimidate visitors. Today, it served as a theater for humanity's humiliation. Our calculations and practical tests confirm the Starweaver's capabilities, Miller responded, keeping his voice level. We request formal recognition of Earth's achievement and the right to navigate dimensional space. The Grand Speaker's crystalline form vibrated with amusement. Show us then. Demonstrate this supposed mastery of the 7th dimension. Back on the Starweaver, engineer Emma Peters worked frantically at her station. The ship's dimensional drive hummed quietly, its true nature hidden beneath layers of seemingly simple design. The aliens had never bothered to look closely at human mathematics or their unique approach to dimensional theory. Their arrogance had blinded them. All systems are ready, Captain, Emma reported through the comlink. But remember, we haven't tested the full capabilities yet. We don't know how it will react in this space. Miller acknowledged with a slight nod that only his crew would recognize. The council had arranged for the Starweaver to perform a supervised test jump. They expected failure. They expected more entertainment. The human vessel moved into position near the council station. Its outer hull seemed plain compared to the ornate alien ships nearby. No one noticed the subtle patterns etched into its surface, patterns that would make sense only to those who understood Earth's breakthrough in dimensional mathematics. Begin the jump sequence, Miller ordered. The Starweaver's engines pulsed with a soft blue light. The alien observers leaned forward, their various sensory organs focused on the human ship. Some had already started to snicker, expecting nothing more than a failed attempt at basic dimensional travel. What happened next silenced every being in the chamber. The space around the Starweaver began to fold in ways that defied conventional physics. It wasn't the crude tear through dimensions that alien ships created. Instead, reality seemed to flow around the human vessel like water around a perfectly shaped stone. The Grand Speaker's crystalline form clouded with confusion. His instruments showed energy patterns that shouldn't be possible. The human ship wasn't forcing its way through dimensions like their technology did. It was doing something else entirely. When the Starweaver completed its demonstration, reappearing exactly where the council had designated, the chamber remained silent. The laughter had stopped. In its place was something new. Fear. Miller allowed himself a small smile. As you can see, honored council members, the Starweaver is fully capable of 7th dimensional travel. We look forward to sharing peaceful relations with all species in dimensional space. The Grand Speaker's next words came slowly, all traces of amusement gone. We will need to discuss this development. The council must evaluate the implications. As Miller and his crew returned to their ship, they knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had hidden their true breakthrough well. The Starweaver's dimensional drive wasn't just about travel. They had discovered something that would change the universe forever. The aliens' laughter had stopped, but they didn't yet know the real reason why they should be worried. That would come later, when the true power of humanity's 7th dimensional technology would be revealed. Back on the bridge, Miller looked at his crew. Well done, everyone. Phase 1 is complete. Robert grinned. "They have no idea what's coming, do they, Captain?" "No," Miller replied, watching the alien ships circling nervously around them. "They really don't." Deep within the Starweaver's engineering bay, Emma Peters stared at the holographic display of their dimensional drive. While the Council was busy debating the implications of humanity's achievement, she and her team were uncovering even more remarkable properties of their technology. "Captain, you need to see this," Emma called through the ship's comm system. Her fingers danced across the control panel, highlighting unusual energy patterns that their sensors had recorded during the demonstration jump. Miller arrived minutes later, followed by Robert. The engineering bay hummed with quiet energy, banks of computers processing data from their recent dimensional transit. What caught everyone's attention was the strange ripple effect their jump had created in the surrounding space. "We didn't just travel through the seventh dimension," Emma explained, expanding the hologram. "We actually modified the fabric of reality around us. Look at these readings. The drive isn't just moving us through space-time, it's reshaping it." Miller leaned closer to the display. "Explain it in simple terms, Emma." "Their ships punch holes through dimensions. Ours," she paused, searching for the right words, "ours works with them. We're not forcing anything. We're asking reality itself to change its rules for us." Robert whistled softly. "No wonder their instruments couldn't make sense of what we did. They're looking for brute force when we're using finesse." The implications were staggering. While the alien races had spent millennia developing increasingly powerful engines to tear through dimensional barriers, Earth's scientists had taken a completely different approach. They had discovered that the seventh dimension wasn't just another layer of space-time. It was the dimension where reality's rules themselves could be adjusted. Emma pulled up another display, this one showing the drive's core. "There's more, Captain." During the jump, I detected something unexpected. The drive wasn't operating at even 1% of its potential capacity. The room fell silent. Miller's expression remained neutral, but his eyes betrayed his surprise. "How much power are we talking about?" "Theoretically." Emma shook her head in disbelief. "We could probably rewrite local physics if we wanted to. Change gravity, alter probability, maybe even affect causality itself." Outside the Starweaver, alien ships maintained their distance. Their sensors continuously scanned the human vessel, trying to understand its technology. They were looking in the wrong place. The true secret wasn't in the machinery. It was in the mathematics that humanity had discovered, equations that suggested reality was more flexible than anyone had imagined. "Keep this quiet," Miller ordered. "The Council's already nervous. If they knew what we could really do." He left the sentence unfinished. Robert checked the security feeds. "Speaking of the Council, they're planning another session. Apparently, some members are pushing for restrictions on human dimensional travel." "Of course they are," Miller smiled grimly. "They're scared. They should be, but not for the reasons they think." Emma turned back to her work, but stopped suddenly. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from several alien vessels. They're trying to scan our drive using dimensional probes." "Let them look," Miller replied. "They won't understand what they're seeing. They're still thinking in terms of their technology." The crew watched as alien scan beams harmlessly passed through their hull. The Starweaver's true nature remained hidden behind layers of seemingly simple engineering. Humanity had learned early to disguise their greatest achievements as mere stepping stones. "Sir," Robert spoke up, "what if they try to copy our design?" Miller walked to the observation window, watching the distant stars. "They can copy the hardware all they want. Without understanding the basic principles we discovered, they'll never replicate what we've done." Emma's console beeped with new data. "The drive's actually learning, Captain. Each time we use it, it becomes more efficient at manipulating dimensional space. It's like it's building a relationship with reality itself." The implications hung in the air. Humanity hadn't just built a better engine. They had discovered a way to communicate with the fundamental nature of existence. The aliens' mastery of brute force dimensional travel was impressive, but ultimately limited. Earth had found something far more profound. "Keep working," Miller ordered. "Something tells me we're going to need every advantage we can get. The Council won't stay scared forever. When they stop being afraid, they'll get angry." As if to emphasize his words, another alien scan beam swept across the ship, searching for secrets it would never find. The emergency alert blared through the Starweaver's corridors. Miller rushed to the bridge, his face grim as he absorbed the information on the main display. Earth's colony on New Haven was under attack. 3 massive alien warships had emerged from dimensional space, their weapons already firing. "Status report," Miller barked as he took his command chair. Robert's fingers flew across his console. "The colony's defenses are holding, but barely. The attackers are using some kind of 6th-dimensional weaponry we've never seen before." The bridge crew watched in horror as energy beams twisted through multiple dimensions, bypassing New Haven's conventional shields. Colonial buildings crumbled under the assault, their structures literally being pulled apart at the atomic level. "Those are black starships," Emma reported from engineering. "They're part of the militant faction that opposed our admission to dimensional space travel." Miller opened a channel to the Galactic Council. The Grand Speaker's crystalline form appeared, seemingly unconcerned about the attack. "We have received your distress call, human captain. However, the Council has determined this is an internal matter." "Internal matter?" Miller's voice was cold. "They're slaughtering civilians." Perhaps if humans had not rushed into dimensional travel before properly understanding the political landscape. The Grand Speaker's dismissal was clear. The transmission ended. Robert turned to his captain. "Sir, we're the only ship within range. The colony won't last another hour without help." Miller stood, his decision made. "Plot a course to New Haven. Emma, prepare the dimensional drive. We're done playing nice." The Starweaver entered dimensional space smoothly, reality bending around it like silk in the wind. When they emerged above New Haven, the scene was catastrophic. The black starships were systematically destroying the colony's infrastructure, their weapons creating tears in spacetime itself. "They're trying to make the whole colony uninhabitable." Emma's voice was tight with anger. "Those dimensional ruptures will make this space impossible to occupy for centuries." Miller watched the enemy ships, his mind racing through options. They were outnumbered, outgunned by conventional standards. But the Starweaver had never been a conventional ship. "Emma, remember those reality modifications you discovered? Time to test them." The engineer's fingers danced across her controls. "Sir, we've never attempted this level of dimensional manipulation. The effects could be unpredictable. More unpredictable than letting those ships destroy our colony." Miller's question was rhetorical. "Do it." The Starweaver's drive hummed to life, but this time it wasn't preparing for travel. Instead, it began to reshape the local laws of physics. The effect was subtle at first, small distortions in space around the black starships. Then reality itself seemed to hiccup. The enemy vessel's weapons suddenly fired backward, their dimensional beams twisting around to strike their own hulls. Shields that were designed to protect against attacks from 6 dimensions found themselves facing energy that simply shouldn't exist. "What's happening?" Robert asked, staring at his readings in disbelief. Emma's voice was filled with wonder. "We're not just bending space. We're adjusting probability itself. In this bubble of space, their weapons are more likely to malfunction than work properly." The black starships tried to retreat, their engines straining against the altered physics around them. But the Starweaver wasn't finished. With each passing second, the droid's control over local reality grew stronger. "Sir," Robert reported, "the enemy ships are losing structural integrity. The space around them is becoming hostile to their existence." Miller watched as the mighty warships began to break apart, their 6th-dimensional technology useless against 7th-dimensional manipulation of reality itself. "Send a message to all frequencies. This is what happens when you attack human colonies." The last black starship managed to limp away through a dimensional tear, leaving its destroyed companions behind. Above New Haven, reality slowly returned to normal, though the scars of battle would remain for years to come. "Send medical teams to the surface," Miller ordered, "and get me the Council again. I think it's time we had a serious discussion about humanity's place in galactic society." As the Starweaver moved to assist the colony, news of the battle spread across dimensional space. The laughter that had once greeted humanity's arrival was replaced by a new sound, whispered conversations filled with fear and awe. The true power of seventh-dimensional technology had been revealed, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Starweaver hung in space above the ruined colony of New Haven, its hull gleaming under the light of 3 suns. Inside the engineering bay, Emma worked frantically to understand what had just happened during the battle. The dimensional drive's displays showed patterns she had never seen before. "This is incredible," she muttered, reviewing the data. The drive didn't just change local physics, it rewrote the fundamental rules of cause and effect in that space. Miller entered the engineering bay, his boots clicking against the metal floor. "The Council is in an uproar. Our display of power has them scared. Really scared this time." "They should be," Emma said, pulling up a holographic model of the battle. "Look at this, Captain. When we altered reality around those black starships, we didn't just affect their weapons. We changed how probability worked in that entire region of space." A hologram showed waves of energy emanating from the Starweaver, but they weren't normal energy patterns. They were ripples in the fabric of reality itself, spreading out like rings in a pond, each ring changing the nature of existence as it passed. "Can you explain it simply?" Miller asked, watching the display with intense focus. Emma pointed to specific areas of the hologram. "In normal space, if you fire a weapon, it hits its target based on aim, trajectory, and other physical factors. What we did was different. We made it so that any hostile action in that space would most likely turn against its source." Robert joined them, whistling low as he saw the data. "So we didn't just defend against their attacks. We made it impossible for them to attack effectively at all." "Exactly," Emma nodded. "But that's just the beginning. The drive is learning, adapting. Each time we use it, it understands more about how to manipulate seventh-dimensional space. The possibilities are, well, they're literally endless." Outside, a fleet of Council observation ships maintained a careful distance from the Starweaver. Their sensors probed continuously, trying to understand what they had witnessed. But their sixth-dimensional technology was like a candle trying to comprehend the sun. "Sir," Robert reported, checking his tablet, "we're getting strange readings from the drive's core. It's evolving." Miller moved to see the readings. The dimensional drive's energy signature had changed, becoming more complex, more intricate. It was as if the machine was developing its own understanding of reality. "Emma, what's happening to our ship?" The engineer's eyes were wide with realization. The drive isn't just a machine anymore. It's becoming a lens through which we can see and change the fundamental nature of existence. Every use teaches it more about how reality works. As if to demonstrate, the space around the Starweaver rippled slightly. Nearby stars seemed to flicker, their light bending in impossible ways. The Council ships backed away further, their sensors overloading from the dimensional distortions. "Can we control it?" Miller's voice was concerned but steady. Emma adjusted some settings, and the ripples settled. "Yes, but we need to be careful. We're not just traveling through dimensions anymore. We're learning to rewrite the rules that govern them." A communication came through from the Council. The Grand Speaker's crystalline form appeared, but this time there was no mockery in his stance. "Human vessel Starweaver, the Council demands an explanation for these dimensional anomalies. Your actions threaten the stability of spacetime itself." Miller smiled grimly. "No, Speaker, we're not threatening spacetime. We're understanding it in ways your people never imagined possible." The drive hummed, a soft sound that seemed to echo through multiple dimensions. Around the ship, reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what humanity would do with their newfound power. "Orders, Captain?" Robert asked. Miller looked at the display showing the fearful Council ships, then at the data revealing the drive's growing capabilities. "We continue as planned. The galaxy needed to know we could defend ourselves. Now they need to learn we can do so much more." The Starweaver's power pulsed gently, sending ripples through the fabric of reality. A reminder to all watching that humanity's mastery of the seventh dimension was just beginning. The era of alien laughter was over, replaced by a new age of wonder and fear. The council chamber was no longer filled with laughter. Instead, a tense silence hung in the air as representatives from 100 worlds debated humanity's latest display of power. The Grand Speaker's crystalline form seemed dimmer than usual, dulled by concern. "The humans must surrender this technology," demanded the representative of the metallic Concordat, their chrome surface reflecting the chamber's lights. "It is too dangerous to remain in the hands of such a young species." Miller stood before them again, but this time there was no mockery in the alien's gazes. Behind him, the hologram showed the aftermath of the Battle of New Haven. Reality itself still rippled oddly in that region of space. "Earth respectfully declines," Miller stated firmly. "We developed this technology for peaceful exploration, but recent events have proven we need it for defense as well." The chamber erupted in angry shouts and protests. The Grand Speaker raised his crystalline appendages for silence. "Captain Miller, surely you understand our concern. Your ship didn't just defeat those vessels. It rewrote the laws of physics in that sector. Laws your people tried to use to destroy our colony," Robert added from beside Miller, his voice cold. Emma's voice came through Miller's private comlink. "Captain, we're detecting dimensional scans from multiple sources. They're trying to probe the Starweaver's drive again." Miller smiled slightly. "Let them scan. The true power of their technology wasn't in the machinery. It was in humanity's understanding of seventh-dimensional mathematics, something these beings couldn't comprehend with their rigid, brute force approach to dimensional travel." "The Council proposes a compromise," the Grand Speaker announced. "Share your dimensional technology with us, and we will ensure it is used responsibly across all species. Like you ensured our colony's safety." Miller's question cut through the chamber like a blade. "No. Earth will maintain control of its own discoveries." In the Starweaver's engineering bay, Emma monitored the drive's status. The machine had grown even more sophisticated since the battle, its understanding of reality deepening with each passing moment. On her screens, she noticed something remarkable. "Captain," she whispered through the comm, "the drive is showing new patterns. It's not just manipulating space anymore. It's starting to predict dimensional fluctuations before they happen." Miller kept his expression neutral, but his mind raced with the implications. They were just beginning to understand what their creation could do. "The Council will not accept this defiance," declared a representative from the Shadow Realms, their dark form rippling with anger. "We demand." The being's words cut off as reality hiccuped around them. Just for a moment, the laws of physics in the chamber seemed to flex, like a gentle reminder of what humanity could do if pushed too far. "We're not defying anyone," Miller stated calmly as the ripple faded. "We're establishing boundaries. Earth will continue to explore dimensional space, and we will defend our colonies. Those are non-negotiable points." The Grand Speaker's crystalline structure vibrated with barely contained frustration. "You don't understand the forces you're playing with. The seventh dimension isn't meant to be manipulated this way." Emma's voice came through again. "Actually, Captain, according to these readings, they're wrong. The seventh dimension is exactly meant for this. They just never figured out how to ask it nicely." Miller suppressed a smile. Humanity's greatest advantage wasn't their technology. It was their ability to see beyond conventional wisdom, to question the assumed limitations of reality itself. "This session is adjourned," the Grand Speaker announced finally. "The Council must deliberate on these developments." As Miller and Robert walked back to their ship, they could feel the weight of countless alien gazes upon them. Fear, anger, curiosity, and calculation mixed in those otherworldly eyes. "They're going to try something," Robert muttered. "Of course they are," Miller replied quietly. "But thanks to Emma's latest discovery, we'll probably know what it is before they do." The Starweaver's drive hummed softly as they boarded, its consciousness expanding through dimensions the Council races had never dreamed of accessing. In the engineering bay, Emma watched new patterns form in the probability matrices, seeing glimpses of possible futures unfolding. The political battle was just beginning, but humanity had changed the rules of the game forever. The question now wasn't whether they would survive in this new reality. It was how they would shape it. The alarms blared throughout the Starweaver as dimensional ruptures appeared all around them. Miller watched in grim silence as hundreds of alien warships emerged from tiers in reality, their weapons already charging. They didn't waste any time, Robert observed, his hands flying over the tactical controls. "I'm counting vessels from at least 12 different species. They'd formed a coalition against us." Emma's voice crackled through the comm from engineering. "Captain, they're using some kind of combined dimensional technology. Their weapons are resonating across multiple dimensions simultaneously." Through the bridge viewport, Miller watched as the alien fleet took formation. Ships of crystal, living metal, dark matter, and pure energy arranged themselves in complex patterns, their dimensional drives creating a web of distorted space around the Starweaver. "They're trying to trap us," Miller realized, "using their combined sixth-dimensional technology to create a cage we can't escape from." The Grand Speaker's image appeared on their main screen, his crystalline form now pulsing with aggressive energy. "Surrender your vessel and its technology, humans. We will not allow one young species to hold such power over reality itself." Before Miller could respond, the first wave of attacks began. Energy beams twisted through multiple dimensions, approaching the Starweaver from angles that shouldn't exist. Probability weapons tried to make the ship's hull simply cease to exist. Temporal strikes attempted to age the vessel's materials by centuries in seconds. "Emma," Miller called out as the ship shuddered. "Options. The drive is different," she replied, her voice filled with wonder despite the chaos. "It's not just predicting their attacks anymore. It's suggesting solutions. But Captain, if we do what it's asking, we'll be pushing into completely unknown territory." Another barrage hit the ship, this one strong enough to make the reality around them crackle with dimensional stress fractures. Robert's console sparked as systems struggled to compensate. Unknown territory is better than destruction, Miller decided. "Do it, Emma. Whatever the drive wants, let it happen." In engineering, Emma took a deep breath and released the safety protocols they'd placed on the seventh dimensional drive. Immediately, the machine's consciousness expanded, reaching out through layers of reality that even humanity's advanced mathematics hadn't fully mapped. The space around the Starweaver began to change. It wasn't the gentle reality manipulation they'd used before. This was something far more fundamental. The drive wasn't just bending the rules of physics, it was redefining them entirely. "Sir," Robert reported, his voice shaking slightly, "I'm getting readings that don't make sense. It's like reality itself is choosing to work with us instead of against us." The alien fleet's attacks continued, but now they seemed to pass through space that no longer cared about their existence. Dimensional beams curved away from the Starweaver. Temporal weapons affected nothing, and probability attacks simply ceased to have meaning in the new physics taking shape around them. "Emma, what's happening?" Miller asked, watching as reality rippled like water around their ship. "The drive isn't fighting against their attacks," she explained, her voice filled with awe. "It's teaching local space-time to ignore them. Their weapons technically still work, but they're operating under an old version of reality that doesn't apply here anymore." The alien fleet's coordinated attack faltered as their sensors tried to make sense of what was happening. Ships began to retreat as their highly sophisticated dimensional technology became effectively obsolete in the face of humanity's deeper understanding of reality. "Impossible," The Grand Speaker's image flickered as his own sensors failed to process the changes. You can't simply rewrite the fundamental nature of space-time. Actually, Miller replied calmly, it looks like we can. The question is, do you want to see what else we can do? The Starweaver hung in space, now surrounded by a bubble of reality that operated under its own rules. The alien fleet's mighty weapons might as well have been sticks thrown against a hurricane, for all the effect they had. "Captain," Emma called out, "the drive is showing me something else. Something bigger. Should I?" Miller looked at the retreating alien ships, at the fear and anger in their actions. They had pushed humanity to this point, forced them to reveal the true power they had discovered. "Do it," he ordered. "Let's show them exactly what they're dealing with." The drive pulsed, and reality held its breath for what would come next. The Starweaver's dimensional drive pulsed one final time, and reality shifted in a way that would change the galaxy forever. A wave of seventh-dimensional energy expanded outward from the ship, not destroying or damaging, but transforming. "Emma, what exactly did we just do?" Miller asked, watching as the wave touched the alien fleet. Their ships remained intact, but the very space around them had fundamentally changed. "We didn't just rewrite local physics, Captain," Emma replied, her voice filled with wonder as she studied the readings. "We created a new framework for how dimensional travel itself works. The drive showed me how to make space-time more cooperative." The alien vessels hung motionless in space, their sixth-dimensional technology suddenly as outdated as stone tools. The Grand Speaker's image appeared again on their screen, but this time there was something different in his crystalline structure. Understanding. "You could have destroyed us all," he stated, not a question but a realization. "Instead, you chose to change the rules." Miller nodded. "Destruction was never our goal. Humanity didn't develop this technology to dominate. We developed it to explore, to understand, to grow. We just needed you to stop trying to take it from us." Robert's console displayed new data as the wave continued to spread. "Sir, dimensional travel across the galaxy is changing. It's becoming more stable, more efficient. Even the alien ships are showing improved readings." Emma's voice came through with excitement. "The drive didn't just protect us. It upgraded everyone's dimensional technology. We're sharing our understanding of reality itself, just not in the way they wanted to take it." The effect spread through the galaxy like ripples in a cosmic pond. Everywhere the wave touched, dimensional travel became smoother, safer, more natural. The brute force methods of the past were replaced by a more harmonious interaction with space-time. "This is what we discovered," Miller addressed the assembled fleet. "Not just a way to travel through dimensions, but a way to work with them. Reality isn't something to be conquered, it's something to be understood." One by one, the alien ships powered down their weapons. The Grand Speaker's form shifted, adapting to the new dimensional framework. "The Council recognizes the wisdom in humanity's approach. We were wrong to fear what we did not understand. And we were right to show you instead of simply telling you," Miller replied. "Actions speak louder than words, or in this case, louder than laughter." The Starweaver's drive hummed contentedly, its consciousness now permanently intertwined with the fabric of space-time. It had become more than a machine, more than a tool. It was a bridge between humanity's understanding and the fundamental nature of reality. "What now, Captain?" Robert asked, looking at the transformed galaxy around them. Miller smiled. "Now we do what we always intended to do, explore. There's so much more to understand about the seventh dimension, about reality itself. And now we can do it together, as equals." The alien fleet began to disperse, but not in retreat this time. Each ship moved with new purpose, their crews already adapting to the improved dimensional technology that humanity had shared with them. "The drive is showing me new possibilities," Emma reported from engineering. "Things we never imagined. This isn't the end of our discovery, it's just the beginning." The Grand Speaker's final transmission carried across all frequencies. The galaxy laughed when humans first showed us their seventh-dimensional vessel. Today, we learn to laugh with them, as partners in exploration and understanding. Miller stood on his bridge, watching as the last ripples of change spread through space. Humanity had done more than prove themselves. They had transformed the very nature of dimensional travel, making it better for everyone. "Plot a course, Robert," he ordered. "Let's see what other wonders the seventh dimension has to show us." The Starweaver moved forward, no longer a target of ridicule or fear, but a symbol of what was possible when intelligence met innovation, when understanding replaced force, and when humanity's unique perspective changed the galaxy forever. The laughter had stopped, but something better had taken its place: respect, partnership, and the shared adventure of exploring a universe that had just become even more extraordinary.